My name is Aur Martha from Bombo Senior Secondary School. We are here for a high school crossfire debate, and I'm here with my colleagues Senjona Maurice David, Mim Isaac Senyonga, and Farian. We are versing Suubi. We are versing Hope Suubi SS with the resolution. This House believes that the establishing of tax incentives and subsidies is the most effective means of promoting economic tourism. We expect to win and expect to learn. Thank you.
Hello everyone, this is Deborah Patience from Hope Senior School alongside Nas, Love and Elizabeth. Today's motion is this House believes that establishing tax incentives and subsidies is the most effective means of promoting economic tourism. We are versing Bombo SS and we believe it's going to be a beautiful experience. We hope for the best. Thank you.
House rules. Each speaker has 5 minutes. The first and last minutes are protected. The judge will ring a bell to signal the protected time. The bell will ring continuously after 5 minutes.
I recognize the appearance of the table of jury, the August House. Good afternoon to you all. This House believes that the establishing of tax incentives and subsidies is the most effective means of promoting economic tourism. Our parameter is in Uganda, and we as Team Affirmative, we come as the Uganda Investment Authority. Our funder is the United Nations through the United Nations Development Account. According to the www.Collins Dictionary, tax incentives refer to government policies that reduce the tax burden on businesses or individuals in order to encourage investment. Tax incentives include reduction in tax credits, allowances. Subsidies refer to government payments or grants that are provided to businesses or individuals to support specific activities or projects. In the context of tax subsidies include funding of tourism infrastructure. Economic tourism, this refers to economic benefits generated by the tourism activities, including job creation, revenue generation, and investment in tourism infrastructure. Most effective means, this phrase refers to the means of efficient and successful way to achieve a particular goal or objective. In this case, the goal is promoting economic tourism. The resolution argues that the establishing of tax incentives and subsidies is the most effective way of promoting economic tourism, and we as Team Affirmative, we agree with it since some of the countries that have benefited and have improved their economic sector by tax incentives and subsidies are Japan, Indonesia, Italy, France, and many others. We have our work plan and the short-term goals. We have our work plan. Our plan is for 7 years. In the first 2 years, we shall have the short-term goals, which are developing a tourism development strategy. In this, we shall identify priority areas for tourism development, including infrastructure, attractions, and services. We shall establish a tax incentive framework, develop a framework for tax incentive that promotes investments in tourism-related activities such as hotel development, tourism operations, and travel agencies. We shall introduce subsidies for tourism businesses, provide subsidies for tourism businesses, including training and capacity programs, marketing and promotion of infrastructure development. In the second 2 years, we shall have the medium-term goals, which are implementing tax incentives and subsidies. In this, we shall implement the tax incentives and subsidies framework, ensuring that it is effective in promoting economic tourism. We shall monitor and evaluate the effectiveness, establishing a monitoring and evaluation system to track the effectiveness of the tax incentives and subsidies in promoting economic tourism. We shall develop in tourism infrastructure, invest in tourism infrastructure, including roads, airports, and public facilities. In the last 3 years, we shall have our long-term goals, which are increase in foreign exchange earnings from tourism, contributing to Uganda's economic growth. We shall create jobs and stimulate economic growth, creating jobs and stimulating economic growth in the tourism sector, contributing to poverty reduction and improving standards of living. We shall establish Uganda as a competitive tourism destination, establishing Uganda as a competitive tourism destination, attracting international tourists and investors. Attracting investment, this means that tax incentives encourage businesses to invest in a specific region or sector by lowering the tax burden. This can lead to new business opening up and exist businesses expanding, creating jobs. When businesses invest more due to favorable tax conditions, they often create new jobs. By this, we see that 70% of the workers will be from the native country, which is Uganda. So Ugandans will be provided to the employment opportunities, hence improving on their standards of living. The 70% of the raw materials will be got from the nation, which is Uganda. I would like to rest my case by saying that tax incentives and subsidies is really the most effective means of promoting economic tourism. Thank you.
This House believes that tax incentives and subsidies are the most effective means of promoting economic tourism. So for this particular motion, what's the burden of Team Negative in today's debate? The burden of Team Negative is to show you exactly what alternative we basically put on the table. As they said in their side of the House, they believe that tax incentives and subsidies are the most effective methods of promoting economic tourism. As they stated in their parameters, they limited our parameter to Uganda. They believe that they are going to achieve some certain form of development in their side of the House because they believe that they have tax incentives that are going to reduce the exemptions that businesses are going to be able to have some sort of income in the long run. But on the other side of the House, what we believe is that tax incentives are not the most effective method of promoting economic tourism, mainly because we feel that tax incentives are prone to inefficiency and misuse. On our side of the House, we have the same achievements, the same goals we want to achieve, but we actually believe that it's not going to be workable. As they give us their work plan, they give us 10 years. But we have examples of different companies that have been given these tax incentives, and for 10 years they have actually not been able to pay back. An example of these companies is Game. Game is a company that has actually not been able to revive from the tax. They gave it a tax incentive to enable it to revive, but in a bid to make it revive, but it failed to actually revive, and they actually failed to pay back their debts. They actually get this money to pay back their debts. They were unable to pay back debts. So this means that they are actually prone to actually have underdevelopment on their side of the House, because some companies are going to actually fail out on utilizing this period of investment. That's because we are prone to inefficiency and misuse. Now, they also believe that tourism businesses, they are going to promote tourism businesses on their side of the House. But when you look at promotion of cultural tourism on our side of the House, we are going to better achieve it because we have a direct approach. Our direct approach is actually aimed at achieving a more infrastructure development on our side of the House. This infrastructure development is going to mean that we are going to directly involve with these specific problems that are being faced in status quo. Let's say I'll take them at their own best pace and we give the companies tax incentives. We are going to have more problems, we are going to have issues we are going to have issues of utilization of the period of time that they are going to be given for these specific tax incentives. And at some point in time, we believe that if they are unable to utilize this specific period, they are not going to be able to develop themselves as companies that are aimed at achieving cultural business and tourism. On our side of the House, we actually have aim at achieving opportunity. We have opportunity costs that they are on their side of the House. They have opportunity costs. Public funds used for subsidies could instead go to more sustainable long-term solutions like infrastructure education, as I said on my side of the House. So as you give them subsidies and tax incentives, you need to be able to they are not going to be able to have a direct approach. We don't know how this money is going to go through, and we don't know what's going to be the impact in the long run. We are direct infrastructure and education, infrastructure, tourism. Infrastructure improvements benefit not only tourists but also locals. We are aimed at also promoting local tourism in the long run. We believe that we better promote local tourism in the long run, mainly because we are able to directly involve ourselves with these local businesses. These local businesses are the examples. We have businesses in tourism sites that people who sell crafts, people who carry out tourist they give people tourist experiences. They experience tourist experiences. Now, we basically believe that they will also have market distortion and over-dependency. On their side of the House, they're actually prone to corruption, even if they don't believe it. They believe that they are going to attract some sort of investment, but on their side of the House, artificially propping up the tourism sector may lead to over-reliance and vulnerability to external attacks, e.g. pandemics. These pandemics could be some sort of government not having enough money to resustain itself after some time. The government may face, many issues can be faced in a country, but the government may not actually have issues to support this because the government is not gaining anything back from the revenue, because tax incentives and subsidies are meant to support those businesses. But when you look at what the government aims at getting, government is not going to be able to get anything because they are losing revenue in the long run. This basically means that when we compare our directness and speed of impact, we're able to achieve more on our side of the House. Let's stretch my case by saying Team Negative in today's debate.
This is the High School Crossfire. We'll be back in a minute.